I don't want to bury the lead, but I am so excited for this episode.
You said you've never had a proper Sunday roast before, right?
No, I have not, and I am very excited.
You should be, because they are delicious.
Yeah.
I think like some people give them a bad rap, but honestly, they've come a long way since we were doing these in like the 1500s. You know, we've evolved a lot. They
I
are
would hope so.
So delicious.
And let me ask you a question. You ever got English breakfast in the morning and then Sunday roast at night?
I think I've definitely done that, yeah. If
Oh
you want like
my
the most
God.
traditional British day of all time, that's the way to do it. Okay, so first up of the day, we're at Fallow.
Fallow.
It's relatively new, it's only been open since 2019, but is a huge hit with Londoners. It's on the Michelin Guide, doesn't have a star yet, but it's on the
Okay.
guide.
All right, so give me the rundown. What is a Sunday roast?
So a Sunday roast at its core
Yeah.
is a few key elements.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a roast meat.
Okay.
The meat can vary, usually between beef, chicken, pork, or maybe lamb.
Oof, I would love a lamb.
You're gonna have potatoes, and
Yes.
the potatoes are gonna be roasted. They're not gonna be mashed like a Thanksgiving dinner. They're gonna be roast potatoes.
Potatoes on the plate in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
We're also gonna have some vegetables on the plate.
Like what?
These can vary. I know you're not a huge vegetable fan.
I want to point out, potato is a vegetable, at least in America. Go on.
Some common themes, things like carrots,
Yeah, right.
things like parsnips,
Okay.
maybe some cabbage on there as well.
Yeah.
Cabbage is quite traditional.
All right. Cabbage smells weird. So.
It tastes good though.
All right.
Honestly, that's kind of it. Usually a gravy. I'm going to be wanting a gravy with mine,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully a Yorkshire pudding. I don't know if you've had many Yorkshire puddings before.
I have,
Mm-hmm.
and it throws an American off.
Yes.
Because our pudding is the sweet, usually custardy, butterscotch or vanilla or chocolate that you get with your desserts. It's just sweet.
There will be no custard on these plates.
Uh-huh.
So a Yorkshire pudding is basically a batter that's made of flour, eggs, and milk.
Yeah.
You then put that into hot oil,
Okay.
put it in an oven,
Yeah.
and the steam causes it to rise and
Okay.
inflate.
Okay.
And you end up with this
What?
nice, crispy, fluffy, slightly chewy little cup, basically,
Right.
that you can kind of like hold your gravy in,
Yeah, okay.
slice up, eat with all your meats. So there's a couple of things that I think we should order here. I think to give you the best idea of like what a standard roast is in the UK, we should order beef at every spot. Their big focus here is on like sustainability. They're a big fan of like nose to tail cooking.
Yeah.
So they'll get these like a full animal in basically and figure out a way to use every part of it.
Okay.
Cool. So we'll get their beef roast here. It's dairy cow rump. Even that is kind of like an emphasis on sustainability because
Why?
it's a dairy cow, usually separate to cows that are farmed for their meat. And then there's also one special thing that I think they have on the menu that I want to get for you, but it's not actually on the written menu. It's a bit of a secret menu item.
Yeah, what is it?
Speaking of using the entire animal,
Yeah.
they will cook up a pig's head for you,
Okay.
and we can eat that. I think they kind of fry it, so you almost get that like chicharron, like crispy skin effect,
Okay.
and it's very delicious. So I think we should
We're
try
getting
one
a
of those.
whole head.
I think so, or most of a head.
I want to look at some pig's face while I'm eating. Come on, man.
Hey, that's a bit rude to me. Come on now. If you want, I can just go. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Turn around.
Hey guys, happy Sunday.
Hey, happy Sunday.
Sunday.
How are we?
Fantastic. How are
Very
you?
well.
Yo.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, so this is
Beautiful.
our traditional Sunday roast. So this is our less
There we
traditional
go.
Sunday roast. We serve that with a bacon butter sauce.
What sauce is this?
This is a bacon butter sauce. So all the trimmings from our
Yes.
smoked bacon supplier. Enjoy.
Amazing.
Thank you very
so
much. Looks
Cheers.
fantastic.
This is
I gotta
amazing.
start eating now. So
Yeah,
can we,
okay,
but
cool.
I will just make a little bit of a plate.
Make yourself a plate.
I'm gonna go here.
Mm-hmm.
What is this right here? I'll just grab a whole one.
So that's a roast potato.
Oh, nice.
Man, I'm excited about
And
this.
chips.
We have parsnips,
Oh,
not
parsnips.
chips.
I called them chips. Do you want to like
So
rip
this
that
is
in
Yorkshire
half?
pudding, which I can split for you. Also, take a bit of the pork crackling.
Thank you.
You'd know it as chicharron.
Greens. What's this right here?
That's a tall Yorkie. That's going to be red cabbage. We also have some greens cooked down with confit garlic, he said.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the theme that you might be getting here is like slightly gourmet.
yeah.
This is, I would say, the fanciest place that we're going to hit today. Because all
This
the
is the
foods-
gravy they put on it,
That's the gravy for the meat.
and I put on everything.
Go for it. I actively encourage gravy going on the whole plate. Oh, look how crispy that is, man.
Round it. Now, is this one of those things where you got to put everything in a bite, or you eat it separately?
Personally, I'm a big fan of like combining all the aspects of my plate in one. I think that's a good way to get a representative bite.
Try it myself.
So I might give that a go.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Roast is cooked perfectly.
The meat itself,
Oh yeah. Tender.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic flavor to it. The gravy, amazing. Come on. This potato is perfect.
Yeah, can I call your attention to how crispy the outside of that roast potato is?
I can't believe how crispy it is. It's so fantastic. But look at the inside, dude. It's so soft.
Fluffy.
Yeah. Wow.
That, in my eyes, might be like an almost perfect roast potato.
I agree.
Gravy and Yorkshire puddings is a match made in heaven.
This is perfect for getting above the, the gravy.
Are you a Yorkshire pudding convert?
I had one before, yeah, but not like this. This is fantastic.
I think when I've cooked roast in the past, the real skill, I think, comes in with the sort of timings of things often.
Sure.
Especially when you're cooking at home, because you don't have that much oven space. And you're like, okay, well, I need the meat to be ready and rested at this time. I need the Yorkshires to go in the oven right at the end. I need the roast potatoes to be nice and crispy at this temperature.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. But what they do here is they really do seem to dedicate time to each individual ingredient.
Sure.
They've got a guy downstairs whose entire job is cooking roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings.
Dude, that seems like a pretty nice job.
Pretty cool job.
Yeah.
But so they're churning these out fresh throughout the day. So I think the fact that they've kind of gone that extra mile to ensure quality roasts is really impressive, and it really pays off.
Yeah. Can't believe we got 4 more of these, man. I want to eat all this so bad.
Yeah, I'm killing this
I'm
thing.
so impressed with how great this is. This
Crack
wasn't a
into the-
surprise.
crack into the pig.
Oh my goodness.
So he said this was like confit and then deep fried.
Wow.
That looks insane. Oh my
Oh
god.
goodness.
I don't know the best angle of attack for this, to be honest.
Just go turn it and get it over
Yeah,
here.
I'll grab your corner.
I don't think I've ever seen a
Dude.
pig head like this.
Have you had like a hog roast before? It's kind of like the vibe I'm getting from this is like really like fancy hog
I
roast.
have, but I don't think I've had a head that's been confited.
They're like fat content on here, my gosh. Pork crackling is like one of my favorite foods. We need to get you some pork scratchings at some point.
That's absolutely incredible. Wow. Like this could have been the center of the roast. How many people do you think could eat this? At least 3.
I mean, having just taken a bite,
Yeah.
I could do that all on my own.
No, you absolutely could not. Stop it.
That literally melts in your mouth. And the skin,
The skin. This is phenomenal. Wow.
Holy.
I've never had pork like this before.
no, me neither.
Okay.
It's incredible when you, like, sure, you want to use the whole animal, but to be able to do it in a way that's like incredible.
Yeah.
They're not just like, oh, we're going to use the head for like something.
Me knowing nothing about this place or cooking, and then just me talking. When they said, oh, we're also going to give you half a pig's head because we use all the animal, I'm like, okay, a little bit of the throw away the pig's head. Like, it's a secret menu thing, which is like, okay, how good can it be? Why is this not on the menu? This, I can't believe how good this is. The roast is incredible, but if I was to come back here, I would be like, give me this. And all the sides, of course.
I'm aware that we need to pace ourselves
Yeah.
because we have more to eat, but we haven't tried the cauliflower cheese yet either. Have you had this before?
I do not like cauliflower.
This might be kind of hot, so just, you don't like cauliflower?
No.
Do you like cheese
Cheese.
sauce?
Yes.
Then you might
like-
like this. Because cauliflower cheese, I'd say the emphasis is more on the cheesiness than the cauliflower.
The cheese is taking place of the noodle.
There is, again, some debate among Brits as to whether or not cauliflower cheese is traditional and deserves a place on the roast. That's just all
I
cheese.
didn't mean to do this, but I don't want to be wasteful. Ah.
Personally, I'm on the side of you should have cauliflower cheese with roast dinners because
Yeah.
it's really tasty and delicious.
This is so fantastic. I'm going to need an IV drip of Lipitor. My cholesterol
my
is going to
God.
hit triple digits today. Oh my goodness. Were your roast dinners going up this good? Your Nana's going to see this.
My roast dinners growing up were not this gourmet, I would say. This is very much like, if we were to kind of categorize the roasts that we're having today,
Sure.
this is the one where like you've moved to the city, you want to invite your parents into town
Ah.
and be like, this is what it's like in London.
Yeah,
Look how
yeah.
well I'm doing.
Yeah.
Take them to Fallow.
And
they
even
will
though I'm
be
doing
blown
well,
away.
Mom and Dad, you're visiting, so you're paying.
You're still paying for this, but look how well I'm doing.
As far as price points concerned, like where does this rest with the cost of a Sunday roast?
We're
normally?
definitely on the fancier end of the scale here.
This place is really nice.
It's a nice place.
Really
I would say
nice,
like
yeah.
it's not like a snooty vibe. by
no,
any
no,
means.
no, 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 no.
But I think for this plate,
Yeah.
you're looking at £32
Uh-huh.
for the beef roast, which I would say is definitely on the higher end. But I've had a lot of roasts in London. I've had a lot of pub roasts. I've had a lot of restaurant roasts. I do feel like this sits very well on the sort of like value for money scale.
Yeah, I mean, this is so great.
I'm looking at that pig's head
I
and I just
know.
want to keep eating it.
I'm like, I'm weighing. You know, when you go drinking, you're like, how much can I drink before I get too much and then get sick? This is not for food. It's like, how much of this can I eat versus how horrible I'll feel later from overeating.
That's going to come home with me.
Wow. All right. Well,
Oh, not sauce.
I'd love to stay here all day and chew the fat.
Quite literally.
Yeah. I'd love to sit here all day and chew the confit half pig's head, as the idiom goes.
Of course, yeah, the old saying.
But
But we have more roast to eat. There's a few other places that I think will show off, I guess, other areas of like roast culture.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably pay up and hit the road.
all right, let's do it.
All right, man. Here we are, man.
Now we're here. What are we doing here? Where are we?
This is the Old Queen's Head in Angel.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I like this pub. I'm here fairly often.
Yeah.
And they also happen to do a really good Sunday roast.
Okay. What makes this Sunday roast so special?
So I think compared to maybe like the restaurant style, fancy style Sunday roast that we've had, this is a very classic like pub roast. Both in terms of the environment, the food itself, the price point,
Yeah.
and just kind of the vibe.
Are we having some brewskis with this one?
I mean, I certainly am.
Yeah, definitely,
I
definitely.
think to complete the full pub roast experience, you need usually some hair of the dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog. Speaking of,
Hey, nice.
thank you.
I can't believe you got a Guinness. We're eating 4 roasts today, and you like the thickest beer.
Obviously, when you have a pub roast, oftentimes you are like a little bit hungover, which is again why I think personally a pint of Guinness accompanies it very well.
I feel like that's just gonna like, oh god, we're getting drunk on gravy.
I mean, if they invented alcoholic gravy, then that's what I would order, but still. I did notice, just from seeing other people's Yorkshires coming out,
Yeah.
big Yorkshire puddings here.
What, big
I did
wide
saw
or
those.
big tall? No.
Kind of both, like a bit of a bowl-shaped Yorkshire
Okay.
pudding. It's just a really fascinating intro.
yeah,
They
yeah.
first appeared in like the 1700s in cookbooks. The cookbook was called The Whole Duty of Being a Woman,
I'm sorry?
which is a sort of housewives guide.
Yeah,
to,
I guess I picked up on that.
You got that, you got that. Hey.
Just in time.
Yeah, we'll probably just share. I'll
let's
take the
share
chicken.
both.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much. Damn. Look at the size of these Yorkshires, man. I was telling you, it's like a bowl.
That's really big, yeah.
That's impressive.
Talk me through it. I got the beef, you got the chicken. This looks like the more
Yes.
the roast, right?
Yeah, huh? I gotta say that beef looks beautiful.
Yes.
How pink is that?
I mean, it's so pink, it's red.
I think that's an issue that maybe like a lot of home cooked roasts can have sometimes, is that you do just end up overcooking the beef. And like
want that.
my grandma's beef, love it to pieces, but she will char the hell out of any beef that she cooks. But I love it. It's so much juicier and more flavorful.
Of course, yeah.
But otherwise, in terms of the trimmings, we've obviously got these enormous Yorkshires. There's roast potatoes in here. I'm seeing carrots, parsnips, and I think kale as well. Let's dive straight in.
Wow. Oh, hot. That is a very juicy piece of meat. It's fantastic. This, I love this. Wow. I have to say, a stronger, delicious, and more savory flavor than the last place we went to, which is a
Really.
surprise.
I think it's like 32 days aged, basically a full month of dry aging.
Wow.
That does a few things. You get these kind of like bacteria in there that break the meat down, which makes it extra tender. Also, the bacteria are kind of creating like lactic acid. So you get like almost, yeah, that kind of intensely like sour flavor to it.
Now potatoes
Really
here.
good.
This is a standard, a full potato cut in fourths.
That's a roasty, yep.
Yep.
I gotta say, this gravy is excellent as well.
Oh wow. The skin in your potatoes here, man.
Yeah?
You know, America, we got our fries, chips, we got loaded potato boats. We do okay with potatoes, but you really hone in on the potato.
It can be the star of the show if you treat it with the love
Yeah.
and respect it deserves. I will say, like, often with a roast dinner, I'm kind of almost more there for the potatoes and for some of the other stuff than I am for the meat.
Really?
I know.
Wow.
Speaking of, this chicken is really good though. I think particularly when you get a piece of chicken like this that's kind of like mostly breast, it can be quite easy to overcook and dry out. But I'm gonna give you a bit of chicken for you
Yes,
to try
thank
as
you.
well.
And just grab a whole thing of beef.
I'm taking a slice of that with me.
Wow, the Yorkshire pudding.
I've not even gotten around to
Should
that
I be eating
yet.
this in my hand, or is everyone like, look at the Americans?
You can do that, it's fine, man. I can be a table manners snob, but I'll make you feel more at home and I'll,
Man, people
I'll
are
rip
letting
into
me
this
have
as
it in
well.
the comments. A lot of food choice videos. How I
Really?
hold my fork. I'm not gonna change, baby. Here we go. Ah,
That beef is beautiful, man.
what?
Really flavorful.
Oh, wow.
Tender. Striking that balance between tender and chewy is so hard.
Yeah, I agree. And with the redness, definitely not a tough piece of meat.
No.
The chicken, I'm getting a roast. I'm getting something, something bloody.
Yeah.
Something red.
Thoughts on this Yorkshire?
I love it. I think I like the last places better, but
Sure.
I'm really enjoying this like fluffy pastry that a bread that you can use to sop up all the juices.
Yeah.
Because it has a bit of a savoriness to it, but not too much. You know?
I'm going to be slightly critical here, Joe.
Yeah.
I think this is a little bit stale. I do think that's quite representative of a pub roast experience to a
Yeah.
degree, because obviously, like, not everything is being cooked to order.
Yeah.
A place like this is very busy, so they are probably churning stuff out.
Yeah.
Just judging from the kind of texture and the taste of it, a little bit dry.
Uh-huh.
Not enough to make it bad. That just means that you kind of like need a bit more of that gravy to kind of dip it in.
Yeah.
Bring that moisture, bring it back to
By
life.
design, though, they're like, yo, enjoy the gravy. Like, get in
Maybe.
there, right? I think everything on the plate works so well. The gravy, the sauce, whatever it is. The fact that everything's just so like well saturated in it. It enhances the flavor of everything individually, you know? It doesn't taste like the sauce.
No.
It just brings out the flavor of potatoes, the meat, the vegetables, everything. The Yorkshire puddings. Oh, wow, this is fantastic.
There's a lot of debate in the UK about what is and isn't like traditional or good on the side of your roast. I know you don't really care about like food rules very much.
It's just something, it's like such a low stakes thing to be such a jerk about, right? Anyone who's fighting about some sort of thing of what can and can't go on a pizza, what can and can't be a roast, it's like you're just repeating what your parents told you. It's nonsense. Eat it. If it tastes good, eat it.
To see how much you actually stick to your principles,
Let's go.
let me run a couple by you.
Okay, go.
Would you have one of these with ketchup?
I don't think it needs it, but I wouldn't care if you had it.
Okay, fine. How about mashed potato instead of roast?
I think it'd be a shame because you guys do such a great potato here.
Okay, and finally, pickled onions, which apparently some people like to have with their roast.
Here's why I think it's okay.
Sure.
You guys love pickling everything over here. You snack on pickled onions, right?
We
You're,
do.
you're a big pickling country, so I wouldn't do it, but I'm not surprised.
I really thought I was going to get you with that because I know your thoughts on pickles, but hey.
Yeah, no,
you
I like
stuck to
pickled
your
onions. I
guns,
don't like
yeah?
the pickled gherkins.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I feel that would have ruined it because of the overwhelming vinegar acidity
Yeah,
and also an overwhelming flavor of onions
sure.
would really clash with everything else on the plate. So I would suggest against it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of unconventional roasts,
Yeah.
the place that we're going to next is doing very much that. So do you want to go and check that out?
Let's do it.
This is Blacklock. I'm going to be honest, going into this one, maybe slightly biased, Joe,
Oh, why's that?
because we made a video about roasts in London several years ago,
Uh-huh.
and at that time, this was my favorite.
Well, let me ask you, what is it about this place last time that you think clinched the victory?
So they do like what I would say is a fairly non-traditional roast. The way they cook things is interesting here. So it's all cooked over a coal fire with English oak.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So you're getting like a real like flame grilled charred effect on a lot of this meat.
Oh, wow. That sounds really good. That's
You here
really
for
my
it?
alley. Oh,
Nice.
fantastic.
Obviously, your average like home cooked roast is not going to have that, but it really adds such a lovely, smoky, rich flavor to the meat.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. What about some of the sides? Do you think the potatoes or the puddings differently?
I will have to wait and see. They do duck fat roast potatoes. I can't tell if that's excitement or fear.
Oh, it's excitement. Ooh, that sounds really good.
There's a few reasons why people will cook certain things like roast potatoes in animal fat.
Uh-huh.
Generally, compared to things like maybe butter or like an olive oil, it will have a much higher smoke point, which means it can get to a much hotter temperature before it starts to burn. So it really lets you get a really lovely crispy exterior on those roast potatoes if you do it right.
I'm starting to freak
We'll be
out.
the judges.
Remember, McDonald's fries originally were beef fat, beef tallow.
Beef fat, and they were delicious.
Yeah, beef fat for the fries or potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So these could be like the original McDonald's fries of roast potatoes.
I'm sure that's the exact phrase that Blacklock is looking for. So I'm still having a great time. I'm just dragging a little bit. We've been to a few.
Sure.
It's getting a little tired. I think what would really be a good pick-me-up is some alcohol.
Sure, we have some options here.
Yeah.
They do good cocktails. I have noticed the eye openers section, which sounds like it might be what we need.
Again, you guys, you're just like, hey, everyone in the country's hungover. That's a selling point.
This literally says, if you had a big Saturday, this will sort you out. So I could go for a breakfast martini. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Cool. All right. So maybe a couple of those. Also, in terms of the meat options here, you can choose from either the beef, the lamb, or the pork, or they are famous for their all-in, which is a combination of all of them. They're designed for sharing between at least 2 people. Thankfully, we are 2, so we can share it.
Yep.
But that way you get the beef, the lamb, and the pork, along with the sides.
I feel like we got to try all the meats.
Yeah, I think we do too. Let's go Arby's on this place.
Oh my God, lady, what are you doing?
Thank you. These as well.
Oh my, okay, so the Yorkshire pudding's in back.
So it's all just kind of like buried in there.
Yeah, we have like a cornucopia sized puddings.
Okay, Joe. We have a mountain of roast meats in front of us. Should
My
we
Lord.
try and serve up somehow?
Oh my goodness.
I think buried under here, we each have one massive Yorkshire pudding along with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I think there's 2, but they're like, they're load-bearing puddings. They're like flying buttresses, just keeping this Gothic church of meat up.
This is huge. Oh, yeah, just sort yourself out and then I'll get stuck in.
Ooh, your potato fell off, I'm sorry. Okay, rest is yours. Oh wait, do I got a potato in here?
I think there might be potato in the Yorkie as well.
The Yorkie.
These Yorkies are like a monstrosity. Look at the size of them.
Yeah, look at this. It's like a cup. They should have served my drink in this. Just,
Yorkshire martini, there you go.
I'm going for the grave.
Do it, man. This is going to send us to our graves.
Yeah, there you go. First the gravy, and then the
Appropriate.
grave.
3 meats on 1 plate. How do you feel about that?
I feel great about it. I don't know how my stomach's gonna feel about it.
Some crackling as well.
Yeah, I got some.
Have some more.
All right. So cracklings are a standard roast side or add-on.
If you're having roast pork, then I'm very interested in the crackling. So because there is pork on this plate, we therefore have crackling as well.
Oh my goodness, fantastic lamb. But I mean, we're doing the beef, so
Yeah, I mean,
Nice
it all factors in. One thing I like here is that they will just endlessly refill your gravy. If you get through your gravy, tell them, they'll sort you out.
just like in America,
Yeah.
we have free soda refills. You get free gravy refills. There should be like a gravy fountain thing. You just walk up with your little boat, just fill it up.
Oh. It's our first taste of lamb today. I love lamb.
The lamb is very good.
I love the lamb. I'm going to try the beef. Again, that's kind of our main basis for comparison. It's a thick slab of beef. Do you like that, or do you prefer like a thinner piece?
For this, I want it thicker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The color on that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Again, dry aged for like, what, almost 2 months?
All the meats on this are great. They're all great. I'm trying not to eat so fast because I chew this meat.
I'm trying to crack into this enormous Yorkshire. This might be the tallest Yorkshire that we've had today.
I usually would shy away against 3 different meats on the plate. So I feel they'd be kind of like struggling for meat supremacy. But all 3 of these are perfect. Yeah, the beef, wow. I'm also very impressed with the pork.
I think particularly with pork in the UK, it will often be very overcooked, quite grey and like dry in the middle, not what you want. Whereas this has been cooked just right. Basically,
It's a fatty piece of meat.
yeah,
Thank you.
so you can preserve
Give me
that
fat,
moisture.
yes.
Also, if you are paying as close attention to where it's coming from as Blacklock are,
Yeah.
they've got like one farm in Cornwall where they get like all their meat from, and they have specific herds where they get all their meat from.
Oh,
They
yeah?
have so much control over the quality that when you have that quality control, you can also afford to cook it slightly on the like rarer side to what you might be used to, but it's completely safe and it tastes so much better. Any critical notes for Blacklock?
Potatoes weren't my favorite of the day.
Sure.
They did a good job. I think because you hyped me up with them adding a little bit of the animal fat
The
on
duck
there.
fat, yeah.
Thought I was going to lose my mind on the potatoes. They're pretty good. Hang on.
I also need to give it a second try.
The skin isn't as like flavorful as I was expecting. Considering everything else on the plate, still hold their own.
I'd agree. I think maybe that's let it down ever so slightly. I tell you what, this might be my favorite Yorkshire that we've had today.
Really?
Yeah, I think texturally, this is like exactly what I want from a Yorkshire pudding, because it is crispy on the outside, but that's not the only texture that's in there. Like, particularly once you get to the kind of lower part of it and the inside, it's still quite soft. Got like a little bit of a chew to it.
Yeah.
I love that texture, man. It's just the perfect vessel for like gravy and meat.
I suddenly hit a meat and potato wall.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
I have a question. You can only get this meat on Sunday, like any other day of the week, just the dried stuff is locked away?
So barring a few specific places, most places in London and I think up and down the UK will only do a roast on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We're shooting this on a Sunday. These are all Sunday menus, Sunday specific menus. This really isn't something that you can just walk into a random place and order on a day that isn't a Sunday.
All right. I think I got one more roast in me.
Okay. Me too. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, right. This place looks really nice. Very posh neighborhood we're in, as you said on the way up here.
So we're in West London now.
Whoa.
Where the posh people are from.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice place. We're on King's Road. Brought you here basically because A, it's a slightly different vibe to the ones that we've had before. It's a nice, relaxed, like almost more of a cafe vibe in here rather than like a restaurant.
Yeah.
But that said, they do a spectacular roast. It's another place with a big emphasis on like sustainability and quality. And there's also some other really fun bits on the menu as well that we should try. One of these starters, have you seen the Marmite eclair, for example?
I haven't. Marmite.
I love Marmite. I'm intrigued to see how they put it in an eclair, but I feel like I have to order one of those now.
Do you think it's like completely frosted with Marmite?
I guess we'll have to wait and see how it comes out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait, won't we? Think you're gonna be doing. I'll taste it, but I don't. Maybe what the heck that.
That's fine. You've got to save some room because we do have one more roast to eat. I will say, do you get a lot of questions about whether or not we actually shoot these in one day or not?
No, mostly people ask me. What do they ask? If we eat all of it?
Sure. Just to clarify, yes, we don't normally look this kind of like flushed and sweaty after just eating like one roast. Or at least I don't think I do.
Yeah. Oof. Well, I am still enthusiastic
I am.
about how delicious this is. It's supposed to be one of the best in the city.
Yes.
Place is really nice. I dig the vibe.
I know we've eaten a lot of roast today, but I think we should probably do the beef, obviously, to compare, and also the pork, because the pork's meant to be really good here.
Guys, here we have pork shoulder.
Beautiful. I'll take the pork. Thank you.
So roast potatoes, seasonable vegetables, sauteed cabbage,
Oh,
and gravy
fantastic.
made from
Oof.
dill sprinkles.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Beautiful.
Fantastic
Thank you.
looking Yorkshire puddings.
That Yorkshire is insane. Look at the size of it.
I'm looking at this. The beef looks perfect on my end.
So I've got the pork.
I'm curious about these potatoes.
I'm very excited by this crackling. That
And
is like perfect pork crackling.
Oh, I got some crackle.
I don't know if you got any, but I can pass you some of mine.
Yeah. Give me a crackle.
It's got a little bit of gravy on it.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Good.
The crisp. With the little like the glistening fat underneath and the crackle.
That might be the best crackling. That might have won the best crackling of the day award.
That's hands down the best crackling we've had.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're not just here for the crackling.
This is the thicker gravy I was talking about, the American gravy that we're used to. This looks really good.
Yeah, it's viscous. I have to comment on this Yorkshire. That is insane. You can see they've kind of like have started cooking it in the kind of like muffin pan that we would normally use for Yorkshires. But then it just kind of gets to like a certain level, loses the guidelines and just goes poof. You look like you've enjoyed your first mouthful there, Joe.
Yeah, that
Talk us through.
They've flavored this meat perfectly. It has probably the best flavor of beef we've had today.
Really?
Also melted in my mouth, and I'm looking at this Yorkshire. Ooh, goodness, dude.
This pork is like
Oh, wow.
insanely tender. It's like I was talking earlier about how I think in the UK we have a habit of overcooking pork,
Yeah,
but this just like comes apart in your mouth.
yeah. Nothing overcooked on this.
It's like I
plate,
can
for
barely
sure.
even get a forkful because it's just like falling off the fork. So tender. Okay. Would you mind carving me a small bit of your beef, please? That is, I think, our baseline for comparison. So I've got to get on.
I give you more than a carve, man. You know, piece.
Who's the
Yeah,
carver
man,
beef?
I'm trusting these potatoes now.
Who's carved up?
Potatoes again, really crispy on the outside, but just pillowy to cut through.
Try some of this beef.
This gravy's incredible too. Wow, man, this is really fantastic. I don't know.
I get what you mean about the beef. It's like almost like a grilled steak type of taste
Yeah,
to that, right?
Yeah. Ooh, the potatoes.
Yeah, well seasoned. Maybe not quite as crunchy on the outside as I like from my dream roasty.
I mean, let me try
More of a
this
sort
roast.
of slightly chewier texture on the outside.
I gotta say, buddy, this is really good. This is really good.
Take a piece of pork, little meat swap.
Oh, meat swap! Don't say that.
I've got to try this Yorkie. I don't know how I'm going to even get into this thing. It's huge. I might just have to take a note out of your book and just tear.
Rip and dip.
The texture on that excites me, I have to say.
Oh wow.
I'm going to try it with just no gravy, just straight up Yorkie.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. This is really tender pork.
That's a serious
This
Yorkshire.
pork is not as tender as the confit pork we started the day with, but it's pretty close. Every other pork we've had has been cut and prepared similar to the same texture as the beef that we've had everywhere. But this pork and the pork at the first one,
Yeah.
how they make it so it just melts in your mouth, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
brother.
With the pork head, that almost is like cheating because of the fat content in there.
Yeah,
But this is like
it is cheating.
But this is like lean pork, but it still has that like butter soft texture.
All right.
Do we have
Oh, look at
mushroom
that.
marmite eclairs and complete cornichon?
So Joe, these are the famous mushroom marmite eclairs. They look pretty cute. Looks very non-threatening.
I'm so full. I'm so full.
Me too.
But this is fantastic. What's going on here?
So we have a little egg confit. Not our first confit of the day. Oh, going in for it. I'm gonna do the whole thing.
A new experience. And it certainly is a marmite. I didn't know it was going to be cold in the middle. By Claire. Oh, wow.
I don't know if I've ever put anything like that in my mouth before.
Okay. Overall, I like that. It was just unfamiliar.
Yeah, I should probably leaning the same way.
No.
I love mushrooms. I love marmite, but there was I think a lot texturally going on there,
Yeah.
which maybe is not quite up my street, but flavor-wise, pretty good.
I can't eat another bite. I'm dead. I'm just going to... Good night.
Joe's gone. Good night, ma'am. I think it might be about time to have a little recap of our day
Yeah.
and then pick our favorite.
It's going to be really hard.
It's going to be hard.
Okay,
So I think from my perspective, it's helpful for me to like break the roast down into like individual components
Yeah.
and maybe say like, okay, well these guys did that the best and these guys did that the best, and then factor that into the final decision. So I think if we're looking at the meats,
Yeah.
I think actually it's probably between Old Queen's Head and here for me in terms of the quality of the beef,
Okay.
that like dry aged flavor, the tenderness,
Okay.
all there.
The beef, along with this gravy they have here, just the flavor's just wow. Okay.
Roast potatoes, for me, fallow is clear. I think they're kind of like a league of their own.
Yeah,
The fact that they've just got them churning out all throughout the day, so you know you're going to get them fresh. They're still going to be crispy. They're not leathery or tough at all on the outside.
Yeah.
Still fluffy on the inside.
Yeah.
They're winning.
It's definitely set a standard. Really nice restaurant also. I know it was a bit of a higher price point, but I think that for what we got there was definitely worth what they were charging.
Best Yorkshire of the day, I actually think might have been rabbit. right here.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? These Yorkshires are incredible. Heard the guy
Fresh.
call down to the kitchen to be the two best looking ones. Absolutely delivered.
Yeah.
These look fantastic.
It
And they
paid off.
tasted very well.
They did. And then other stuff on the plate as well. Obviously, like the gravy, I think pretty similar across the board, to be honest. Like everywhere had a pretty good gravy. Vegetables did vary in quality. I think also one thing that really stood out was the parsnips at Fallow.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I really love about roast is that unexpected elements of the dish can really stand out, but just their like caramelization that they got on those, that natural sweetness, I thought was amazing. I think otherwise, broadly speaking, the veg and like the carrots and the parsnips were the same, but that really did like kind of set them apart for me.
Well, I've been thinking
Okay,
a lot
this-
about it.
Yes.
And by a lot, I mean the past 45 seconds. And I have to say, I'm only thinking of it like overall. And I'm gonna say I think rabbit was my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, this is fantastic. The only note I would have would be on the potatoes. Other than that, both meats are incredible. This Yorkshire pudding's incredible, and I really the gravy that they have here.
Yeah.
That season's so fantastic. So this is my favorite.
I'm a little surprised.
Why?
I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. It was very good.
Okay, fine.
Not my favorite.
What's your favorite?
I don't think there was much between any of the four we tried today. It really came down to a narrow choice between two for me. My favorite was Fallow.
Wow. Okay.
I think it was on the slightly more expensive side, although honestly, looking at the price point of maybe the rabbit roast or the Blacklock roast, we actually weren't paying that much more. And I just think really the care and attention to detail that Fallow were paying to their food really shone through. I think each individual component, the level was just super high. But I also want to give a shout out to the Old Queen's Head, because I do think in terms of like a pub roast, they're doing a great job. And that was almost like half the price of some of the ones that we've had today. And I don't think it felt like it was half the price in terms of the quality.
Okay.
Would you recommend an American to try a Sunday roast while they're in town?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I give them a heads up. Like you will be so exhausted.
Don't eat 4 in one day.
Yeah.